in the pot. Okay. Next, the FEMA letter here is thanking us for being so proactive in adopting the new flood regulations. And okay, well, welcome. That was something else. NYMER, this is our insurance company. They sent their annual report letter concerning cyber coverage. We talked about this before. And I passed, I think there's something in all your mailboxes about it. Take a look. It doesn't renew until March, but you can look and we can decide if we want it. Can't be recommended that we do it so that the agent, because they're noticing a lot of cyber problems, crashes and whatever. Okay, it'll be in the future. Right. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay, next, Lee Whedon Library groundbreaking ceremony Friday, August 22nd at 11 a.m. Kathy, here. Cynthia. Yeah, Cynthia was here last month, and we received a little card just letting us know. I thought I'd put it in here. August 22nd, 11 a.m. at the library. The groundbreaking.
I'll be there.
All right. Okay. Next, and this will also be part of the agenda, the resolutions. We received something from Joanna authorizing us to make a budget transfer. Looks like John may have overspent. And anyway, but that's okay. Just, okay.
Yeah. It's just it's for payroll. There's a bunch of different categories that guys get paid out of, and we just pick the one too hard. Okay. Make it right.
Okay. And so any questions there? No? Okay, so much for communications. Date of the next meeting, workshop is September 9th, 7 p.m. here. Board meeting is September 15th, 7 p.m. here. Okay. Okay, what else? Oh, just to let everyone know, next month is September, which is the start of the budget process for 2026. That's always a fun time of year.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anna, Joanna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't wait.
I know. Okay. Any questions on that? No. Really no old business. We're up on everything, moving along. Okay. And
Yes.
oh, I told Hannah said that. No, okay. Right, move it to new business. A, resolution, set public hearing and vote for FEMA flood control regulation. You can set the public hearing for the beginning of the meeting. We usually do 7 o'clock to 7:15 or whatever. Okay?
Yeah.
And, right, so set it for 10. No, 9. September. Yeah, 9:15. 7 p.m. Need a motion and a second, please. Moved by Mary, second. By Cliff, all in favor? All, okay. Right, and yeah, here it is. September starts the budget cycle for 2026. Just let everyone know. We'll keep you up on that. Right. C, resolution authorizing bookkeeper to make a budget transfer from DA 5148.100 to DA 5140.100. And they needed to transfer. Wait a minute.
Same thing as up.
Yes,
23.
and I think I missed a 2 on it. first number?
Yeah.
Then it should be 2389. Okay, to 2389 to from DA 5148 to DA 5140. Need a resolution authorizing the transfer. Okay, moved by Jeff, second by Cliff, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Lastly, we had a visit here the other day with Allison Markowski. She's the new outreach director for Congressman Claudia Tenney. In about two, we got talking and we were here for a while. And I was showing them around the building. I didn't realize that they were having the, that was the accessory meeting here for the county. And I opened the door and there were all these people sitting here. I had no idea who they were. And yeah, Allison standing behind me and I said, well, oh no, I'm sorry, folks, that's okay, don't worry. I'm just showing her around the building, we're getting ready to sell it. And she was thinking, look, I got there. All these people, that's good. That's picture. I know, yeah. So anyway, but no, she was, in fact, she said she was impressed, just going around the building with, everyone here, the teamwork, and everything. And I said, thank you, it's not, and she told me I'm doing a good job. And I said, no, it's not me. I said, it's the other four people I've been with. So she was very impressed with all of you. And she even said that Claudia Tenney is looking for small projects. So we get together with John and see if we can do something with the other half of Water District 15. See what happens, okay? All right, Denise, good. Yeah, any questions on that? Okay, all right. Next, moving into reports, fire company.
I do have it.
Oh, we do have it.
I bugged Tyler at the National Night Out and told him we need the info and he got on free stuff.
Okay,
So I have January through July. I'm not sure if we want to catch up and put them all in the minutes this time or just do July from here on out. I don't know if it's a lot to read, but I got it last week.
just revise. Or you, yeah, the way you do it.
Yeah. You want it, Dwayne? Your job, I don't want to go. Oh, that's one on there.
Ooh.
Oh, you're tiny. Count that.
Sparring. Okay, for July, their final report, they sent out their EMS 18 times. They have investigated or took care of 2 motor vehicle accidents. They answered the call to 2 structural fires. They did 1 controlled burn. One of the fires rekindled. They had to go out to it again. They went to 2 brush or barn fires. They answered the call to 1 vehicle fire. Went to 4 different hazardous conditions. They actually made a rescue on the water. And did 1 EMS standby. It doesn't tell me if they've got any new people or they gained any members. It's a totally new type of report. Hopefully they're getting some people because that fire on Fruit Avenue, in order to have nearly enough people, they had 4 different fire companies come to it to end up with enough people there.
Yeah, they've been doing that a lot lately.
That's a new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, and what probably burnt down to the ground, so,
Like Cliff said, it's a new normal. They'll automatically call a couple of the companies to come out.
yeah. It's the new day, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. that it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. All right, next departments, Anna?
It's been pretty quiet, pretty normal for summertime, and dog licenses, hunting licenses have started for the year, which even that's kind of declining now that people can do it online. We've been doing some organizing and shredding, normal stuff.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kathy?
I will get to you, Hannah, sometime this week, the legal notice that you'll need to get published.
Thank you.
It's gonna be short and simple and refer to the Ridgeway website for the full law. So you'll have to get that up.
I can do that.
That's it.
John is on vacation. Okay, and that's it. Right. No county legislators. Okay. Diane, anything in the village that you know of?
Well, I don't do village stuff anymore officially, but not that I know of off the top of my head. I'm trying to think what's coming up in the next couple weeks, but no.
No, okay, all right.
You're not on the village board anymore?
No, the March.
I didn't know that.
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm behind the times on that.
All right. Councilman Dwayne?
I'm fine.
Okay. Yep, as well. Okay, Greg?
We will talk about it in discussion
Okay. All right,
this week
okay.
with the neighbor to see today. Hannah's always there. There's also,
Two. So. Great team. Good, okay, all right. All right. Need a motion and a second to pay the bills, please. Okay, moved by Jeff, second.
I'll second.
Wayne, all in favor? All, okay, all right. Open session. Public comment, questions, concerns? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I frequently attend the, different municipal meetings. And I attend the Village of Medina a lot, and I would like to encourage that a member of the Ridgeway board attend that meeting when you can, or alternate, because there's a lot of things that are brought up that I'm not sure are communicated. I'm not sure they're always accurate. As far as from what I can see, if my information is correct, and I had the number of parcels in the town of, in the Village of Medina that are in the town of Ridgeway, and you've got about 60% of the village population. I think they need input, and I think they need input.
Define input for me, please.
You don't want me to do that, Mary. You know me well enough.
I'm curious.
Well,
because we don't
look,
get any
there's the different departments, there's what's going on in the village, there's things that need to be done, and I'm not saying that it's Ridgeway's responsibility. But, the town shall be is at least showing up, has been for many months. They've heard different things. Oh, yes, even, several different council members, not just one. There have been 3 there at different times and consistently, and during budget talks. And I think we're headed in a direction that might not be the direction that we want to go in. And, I don't think that, I think things are brought up at times, whether it has to do with fire, whether it has to do with ambulance, or whatever it has to do with, and then, well, this one should do this and this one should do that. I think you need to be there to hear what commentary is going on, because it involves Ridgeway as well.
There's usually plenty of seats here at our meetings too.
I'm sorry?
There's usually plenty of seats here at our meeting for them.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that I wouldn't say the same thing.
And Jess is at every meeting.
Jess
is at every meeting.
I'm not saying, no, and please don't take it that way. It's that they need to have somebody else hear these same things, in the way they're said. because I think it gives you an idea of what's going on there. And I'm not so sure that I agree with a lot.
Are these things that you're referring to, Gabe, are they things suggested by the trustees or things bandied about from the general public? Or
I think some of it comes from, well, I think some of it might come from conversations that come from board members. Some of it might be some of it is from the audience. And I would say that I please don't get the idea that it's critical necessarily. It's just, I think your presence would be helpful in evaluating things yourself. You know, we went through quite a period a number of years ago where there was a very strong, for people felt that, you know, the village needed to be perhaps dissolved or whatever. I think for a lot of reasons, those conversations, I don't say that they're resuming in a loud voice, but I also think that you need to assess what people are saying. And there certainly are a number of people in that audience that I know are Village of Medina, town of Ridgeway residents, as well as Shelby.
And do they speak at the meeting?
Oh yeah. Oh, yes.
Because we received nothing here, like, as far as anyone complaining.
No, and
meetings.
it's not necessarily complaining sometimes. It's just
Okay.
stating a lot of, there's just a lot going on in the village, and we want to keep it a village, and we want to, I just think that with the dominant part of the village in the town of Ridgeway, it would be very, very helpful. And don't think I haven't said this at the county level too. You know where I've gotten, but I just think that. Pardon me?
We don't see the county.
Well, they don't either. And it's not, what I'm saying is don't think I haven't addressed it. But I hope you can,
Well, may I speak? Are you done? I don't want to cut you off.
no.
All right. Dwayne and I are representatives. I'm, chairman of that committee. When you write it out, I can't remember. I would always attend them earlier, much earlier. And then they had to be moved to the town building, or the clerk's office, I should say, which was very small and so on. So Mike then stepped down. I have not gone to any of the new meetings that are held here. And I have heard that, Ridgeway has been spoken about, but we get nothing. It's funny that I almost feel at times that sort of unprofessional when a town is talked about by a total board or trustees, when we're lacking this big gap of communication. So we could be in the audience, but if we're not prepared, you would have to hear, well, we'll have to get back to you, which irritates people immensely. So the communication would help with Marguerite and our supervisor, first of all, speaking and meeting and saying, what are the problems? Or what are our concerns? Or where can we work together better? And if Shelby is there at the meetings, I don't know, if their representatives are doing the same method. I don't even know if they're holding meetings right now because of what has happened. So we would go, the meetings are at least 2 to 3 hours. There's something that's a lot of time to dedicate to. Are the people, way back even when I was working, there was a 3-minute. See, the Medina Central has you write down something and you had to hand it into the superintendent. you don't even go to a meeting and speak unless you've been recognized through a passage that you've written. As far as I know, that could have changed. I'm not speaking gospel here. So it's just, what's going on? That's basically in my mind. Dwayne and I will be happy to start going. We can come as a whole board if they want.
It isn't that, I don't want you to think that it's a lot of, it's a lot of criticism of, it isn't
Well,
that.
I've read a lot.
I just think, don't take it that way, but I just think that you hearing some of the things that are being said, just generally gives you an indication of, you've got a lot of stability here. You've got you don't seem to have the same level of excitement here that we have else in some of our other villages and towns. And that's a good thing. But I also think that we start going down a pathway that is not, and it's not a reflection on any one individual. It's not a reflection of the village board. It's just, you're hearing people say, look, we've got to do something. Maybe you can come up with something that adds to the discussion that is very helpful. I think a few years ago, there used to be meetings generally among, a number of the municipalities locally here. And I don't know if you still have those, but it gives you chances.
There was a long time ago.
Well, that was, I remember it since I've done this,
I'll bet we haven't done that in 20 years.
that's what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden things start going in a direction and they didn't get there in a month or 2 months. But I've sat there and I've listened to many things. And so then I said, well, how many of our residents are in the town of Ridgeway? And then I kind of got those figures. And I thought, well, that's the way I feel. Maybe not everybody else feels that way. But I know that the public is just thinks that there's a lot of conversation going on.
Well, I see matters that occur, usually written up for the hub, and then you hear a lot. I don't understand recording. I don't know what this involves. And so I think that, again, there's the whole communication. I don't know, Diana, if you have any idea of what they use this for, they being the Board of Trustees.
The recording isn't for the Board of Trustees, it's for the public.
It's for the public.
Like we were just testing here. We are going to record the village meetings.
Which is good.
You're recording now.
Correct, but it's not being pushed anywhere. Right now, it's just we're testing sound and we're testing video.
With the aspiration of accomplishing what?
It's New York State open meetings law.
I'm not asking that. What are you going to do with that?
This is just for us to test. The idea for us putting it in the village is so that more people can see what's happening. So,
We're a test case here.
right.
Okay.
This is just for us to say,
We wanna see
does
it.
the video work? Where does the speaker need to be so it can be heard? And this is not a knock at anything. You're not on microphones. Like, does this need to be up there with you? When we were here last week, we had it back there with us. What works best? What can be done so it can be seen so that everybody can get the same information?
Well, I think everybody is curious when something comes into different like this. So, that could be what the questions are.
Oh, I understand that.
But I see what you mean. You've got to check it out somewhere. You're new at it. You haven't recorded too many.
Not live meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, other than work, but setting it up in your laptop is a little bit different than having a whole setup in, an office.
Yeah.
Some days the internet could work here, some days internet's not like anywhere. It could work here, it could work there.
So eventually something like this will be accessible to the general public.
Now, Gabe, are you thinking that we should go and just observe closely one of these meetings so we know exactly what they're doing? Or
Just
should
observe, just listen. And Yeah,
Should we offer any input or would they accept our input?
I think what would happen is that, you would hear things that, not everything gets reported on the hub, or sometimes it might be a different way, or we interpret it differently. But I've heard some different things about, well, this, we're gonna need help with this, and we're gonna need help with that. And, I sit back and I think, look, personally, I think there's a lot of help that's needed.
Well, my observation of a board, whether it be a village or a township or whatever, or a school board, is that something I learned several years ago, 25, 30 years ago, when I was on the Republican County Committee, and we would vet people that wanted our endorsement to run. Well, one of the primary things that we observed, if somebody came in wanting to get our endorsement, and it seemed through conversation, they had an issue, a personal issue that they wanted to get on that board, whether it be here or across town or whatever, because they wanted to correct the thing that affected them.
Right.
And for us, that was immediate no vote. We didn't want somebody that was just looking at one thing because it affected them. We wanted people that were looking at the entire situation going on. And I wonder, excuse me, if the Village of Medina and certainly the Village of Shelby, the township up there, there's too many people with individual ideas or something that they are super concerned about and don't want to hear from the other side. And that creates all the excitement.
Yes.
And, people go in with an idea, I'm going to be on the board and we're going to get this done and we're going to do this because, it's always bothered me that, well, is it for the good of the public or is it just for you? And I think there's too many people that have gotten on boards that were just looking out for themselves, or maybe their family or their one individual street or something, not looking at the whole picture. And until things evolve, maybe some of these people are no longer on a board or in a group, and you get more people in that have a overall look at things, things are gonna tend to stay exciting.
Well, there's a lot, there's just a lot going on in our world. But, it certainly, I just remember, I can recall different times when there was more of an exchange of ideas.
Yeah.
When boards sat down, and I'm not talking about I know that they have a monthly meeting. I'm not talking about that. Maybe where the western portion got together and they talked over different issues. Maybe even something like that. But I think we've got to look to the expertise of people who've been on boards for longer periods of time and hear some of the frustrations. Because I think that we're headed in you've got a lot of taxpayers that are very concerned as to how can we keep our communities intact. And they have very legitimate concerns. Not all of it having to do with taxes either. It's just everything. It's just additional expenses. How can they afford to live the way in our community?
I think you really hit on something. You said the word expensive.
Yes.
Because
yes.
individuals in their household are counting their pennies and cutting here and cutting there. Somewhere I just read that the majority of these fast food restaurants have had to cut shifts and cut back because their sales are way down. People aren't coming out and spending. Their lower price grocery stores are doing a whole lot better. So what I'm getting at is people are trying to think about what money is being spent, and it's their money that goes into the village or the city or township, and they're getting super concerned about how things are spent and where they're spent. And that's brought out a lot of people. And then nobody agrees on where it should be spent.
No, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that, and we're seeing a lot of it with our businesses. We're seeing a lot of it just generally. You saw the Public Service Commission just did was anticipated as a 20% increase in National Grid, starting into effect next month, no matter what they heard, they did it anyway. So and that's not anything you can control or I can control, but, you know, there's what more, can more be done about shared services? I don't know that, but I think that that's an area needs to be looked at from what I'm hearing in the audiences and what I'm hearing in going back and forth what people are saying. This room is full. At these meetings, it's full, and you've got people sitting along the side, and sometimes in the hallway. So there's an active element that is talking about these things. But that was just my, you know, no one has asked me to do this. I just felt that it might put Ridgeway at a disadvantage not to do it. Think about that.
How's that?
How's that? Because you're seeing more, I'm seeing even before all of this, whatever went on at Shelby, even during a lot of the budget meetings or a lot of the conversations, I would see different council people, not just the same ones and not anybody who lived in the village, show up and start commenting and add things to a conversation that nobody else in the audience thought, because they didn't have a municipal background. You might come up with something during these meetings that is very beneficial. They didn't think of something, somebody didn't think of something. That's what I mean. And I don't mean it that there's criticism or anything like that. I just think that sometimes the input and the experience, a different experience and a different perspective could help. Maybe some people don't want it either. They like the excitement. We gotta take that into consideration too, because there's plenty of it. No question about it. But thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Anybody else? Okay, if not, we're going to go into an executive session, okay? Motion and a second to go into an executive session. Moved by Cliff, second by Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.